Hey Food and Finance, welcome back to Baking with Billy. I'm Chef Billy, and today, in honor of Thanksgiving, I'm going to share with you my recipe for classic American apple pie. Okay, so first thing we have to do is make our pie crust. Okay, we're going to be making a flaky pie crust today. So let me measure out our flour. I have AP flour here, all-purpose flour, right? Which is the best flour to use when making any kind of pie dough, okay? Because it doesn't have a lot of protein in it, okay? Which means it's mostly low gluten flour, okay? We don't want to develop any gluten in this crust, or as minimal as possible. So we're using a very low gluten flour, okay? So that's about 2 cups. I'm just gonna put a tiny bit more, just in case. Then we're gonna add a teaspoon of salt right on top of that, okay? And we're also gonna add a tablespoon of granulated sugar, okay? Now you could sift this. I know a lot of people don't have sifters at home. I know I don't, so I'm just gonna use a whisk, okay, and give this a little whisky business. All right, so we have our dry ingredients all measured out here. I also have 4 ounces of butter, unsalted butter, and about 2 ounces of shortening, okay? Now we have to cut, right, quote unquote, cut this flour into the fat, okay? You could use a pastry knife, which I don't have here. You can use a fork, okay? Or you can just use your hands, okay? Make sure the butter and the shortening is ice cold, all right? And you want to break it up into slightly smaller pieces, right? And then I'm going to show you what the next step is. So we're going to add all of our fat, okay, including our shortening. You want to just sort of break that up into little knobs, right? Chuck them in there. And then we're going to get cutting. So first thing you do is just coat all that fat in the flour, okay? And if you look closer, all right, what I'm doing is I'm breaking this fat, okay, into smaller pieces. You want it to be about the size of small green peas, okay, which is like the size of the tip of your pinky finger, okay? That's pretty much what you're looking for. So you just sort of press them in between your fingertips, okay? And what will happen is the pieces of fat will start slowly getting dispersed into this flour and get broken into smaller pieces, okay? And that's what's going to help with the layers and the flakiness of your dough, okay? If you didn't do this, your dough would not be anywhere near as flaky as you want it to be, okay? You want the dough to be nice and flaky so that it can deliver your perfect pie, apple pie filling, okay? So if you notice, look a little closer, you see these pieces of fat are starting to get smaller. Okay, we still have a little bit of work to do, but we're almost there, okay? Again, you want to just break them up, sort of press them in between your fingers, okay? Until they become the size of almost like small pebbles, right? Almost like small pebbles. If we were making a mealy pie dough, we would do this to the consistency of coarse sand, but we'll get to that in a different episode when we do our custard pies, our sweet potato and pumpkin pies. All right, so pretty much almost there, right? We have our fat broken, right, into pieces about the size of small peas. I don't know if you can see that, okay? But we're pretty much there. All right, pretty much there. Now we're gonna add ice cold water. So I have a glass here, right, with ice water, and I poured it into my measuring cup, and I measured about 4 ounces, okay? About 4 ounces. You put your vinegar right on top of that, okay? And then you're gonna start adding your liquid very slowly, about a tablespoon at a time, okay? So if you look a little closer, you'll see what I'm doing, right, is just adding the liquid a little bit at a time, okay, until the dough starts to come together. All right, so I'm actually almost there, right? I'm almost there. Let's check to see. Got a little bit of dryness down there, so we're gonna add a tiny bit more water, okay? But you don't want to overmix this, okay? You don't want to overmix it. You want to bring it just together, okay? Until it forms a dough, right? So from here, you're just gonna sort of kind of press it together, okay? With your hands. Teeny tiny bit more water, right? You're gonna press it together. You could actually see the bits of butter in there. Beautiful, okay? You're gonna press this together, okay? Until it forms a dough ball, right? Until it forms this dough ball, right? And then what you're gonna do, right, is you're gonna just knead this ever so slightly, right? Ever so slightly on the board, okay? On the board until you get your dough to look like that, okay? From here, okay, you want to break it into two pieces. You're gonna want the bottom layer to be slightly bigger than the top, okay? Slightly bigger than the top. So you're gonna form two discs, right? From the ball, from the two balls, you're gonna flatten them, okay? To form two discs. Then you're gonna wrap them in plastic and you're gonna put them in the fridge to rest for at least 45 minutes, okay? Let me show you real quick. While these are resting, okay, you're gonna start your apples. You're gonna start your apples. So let's assume that they're in the fridge, okay? In the interest of time, I'm gonna show you real quick, okay? I'm gonna show you real quick how to do this. Basically, what you're gonna do, okay, is you're gonna peel this apple. You're gonna take the core out, and you're gonna cut it into half-inch pieces, okay? So I will show you that. Real quickly. And then when we come back, we're gonna finish making this pie. So, I have my apple peeled. You're gonna slice this, okay? You're gonna take the core out. All right. Okay. You're gonna take the core out. And we're gonna slice this into small pieces, okay? Please get all the pits, all the seed, and all the core out, because it's very fibrous, okay? You don't want any of that in your pie, okay? You don't want any of that in your pie. So, we take out the core, all the skin, all the seeds, and then from here, you're gonna slice this, okay, into about, almost like a half-inch dice, right? Almost like a half-inch dice. A lot of people say just make them into slices. I think it's better this way, okay? I think it makes for a better texture of the final pie, okay? You're gonna do this to all of your apples, and then, right, then you're gonna juice and zest one lemon and pour it over the apples. Gonna give it flavor, but more importantly, it's gonna help to not discolor the apples, okay? I don't have a zester, but I do have a small shredder, okay? If you don't have either of these, skip it. Just juice the lemon. It's very important that you have the juice. The zest is just going to add flavor. Okay, so if you have the means to do the zest, then by all means do it. If you don't, okay, then you can skip it. Right? I also like to use a little strainer. Okay, and I give the lemon a little roll. Okay, so that it releases the juices. All right, and you're going to toss all of your apples in that while your dough is resting, okay? And when we come back, I'm going to show you how to finish this pie. So see you in a few minutes.